Alright, what's up everybody? Today we will be playing a fun, janky, super weird kind of combo deck that I enjoyed playing a little while back. I've updated it with like a couple of new cards and I've changed the theme just a little bit. The idea is, at its base level, it is Early Harvest Heartbeat of Spring combo. So the idea is you play only basic lands that tap for mana, and then you early harvest, untap all of your lands, basically turning early harvest into a great big ritual. Then you constantly cast draw sevens to like continually draw the cards you need, untap all your mana, cast big spells. You use Fae of Wishes to wish for a card out of your sideboard, and you wish for Omniscience. Then you can pay the 2 mana, discard 2 cards, pick up Fae of Wishes, cast the wish for free, and then, continue on with the combo and like kill your opponent, ending with a Coax from the Blind Eternity to wish for Emrakul and then cast Emrakul for free because you have, an Omniscience on the battlefield and so on and so forth. And to protect the combo, we have 1 Remand, 2 Force of Negation, a Cryptic Command, and 2 Teferis. I have no idea if that's enough or not. The only new Zendikar card that was added to this was Selendi Vision, just to help with, because we're running 8 Explore effects. So, Selendi Vision being useful as a land or as a impulse effect is quite nice. One of the big problems this deck had was not being able to take advantage of all of the extra land plays it had, because it wasn't playing enough land. And it's currently at 26, which I think might still be light. This deck might want 27 or 28 lands. But we'll see. Anyway, gonna take this into a constructed league. I have no idea how this is going to do. It's a very different metagame than the last time I played this. And I might go 0-5, but hopefully we have fun doing it. Alright, round 1, here we go. I mean, this looks like an okay start. The problem is we can't fetch for white mana for Teferi, but we do have a Utopia Sprawl. So, I think we keep... This is a turn 2 Teferi. We do have to name white with Utopia Sprawl, which does suck. Kind of looks like we're against Ad Nauseam. That's the only deck I know of that runs Temple of Deceit anyway. When it puts a card on the bottom of their deck, we draw Early Harvest, which is good. So fetch with Misty Rainforest, we will get a regular Snow-Covered Forest, Utopia Sprawl the Forest, and name white. Okay, pass the turn. Apologies if you can hear Porter chomping on his bone. He's very happy that I'm home. I went and actually ran for the first time in a long time. Been doing a lot of powerlifting, but I was really surprised. I went 2.5 miles on an elliptical at like 8-9 miles an hour and was not winded by the end of it, but like, good workout level. So opponent suspends a Lotus Bloom after casting a Serum Visions. If Teferi resolves, our opponent can't actually cast Lotus Bloom. So we're going to fetch a basic island, play Teferi. Opponent might pact this if they're holding Pact Angel's Grace. They do not. Uptick Teferi. Pass the turn. We do need to draw some lands. So hopefully Teferi can help us at lands. Opponent plays a Sleight of Hand. They are stuck at playing at sorcery speed right now. They Sleight of Hand again. We untap. We draw Force of Negation, which is very useful against our opponent's deck. Go ahead and bounce nothing. Play Windswept Heath. Do we have a Heartbeat of Spring in our sideboard? We do, but it might kill us if we cast... I guess it wouldn't because we have Force of Negation. Okay, so I'm going to fetch a Forest, and I down-tick Teferi this turn, so I have to cast at sorcery speed. So we will use Granted's ability, and we're going to get Heartbeat of Spring. Pass the turn. I should not be F6ing. I have a Force of Negation versus a deck that's all non-creature spells. So, Lotus Bloom ticking down. Opponent plays a Swamp. They cast a Phyrexian Unlife. I think the only thing I would be willing to fight over is Ad Nauseam. So I'm going to let this resolve. We do need like 1 or 2 more mana, I think. Yeah, we need 1 more land. There it is. So, uptick Teferi. Play an island. Play Heartbeat of Spring. Early Harvest. Target ourselves. Float a bunch of mana. Early Harvest. Untap all of our mana. Oh, I guess I actually shouldn't be tapping that again yet. We'll Echo of Eons. Float a green. Draw a new hand. Okay. So then we Growth Spiral. Put a Forest into play. Play a Heartbeat. Play a Heartbeat. I'm gonna cast Selendi Vision. We'll take another Growth Spiral, because it's mana positive at this point. Growth Spiral. Play a Forest. Float mana. Early Harvest. I think we can pretty safely do the whole Omniscience thing now. We're only tapping for 4 mana every time we tap a land. Alright, let's go ahead and wish for Omniscience. How much mana do we actually have? Way more than enough, I believe is the answer. Okay. So then we can Echo of Eons, Flashback, draw a whole bunch of cards. Okay. Okay, we can just use this one out of hand. Granted. We'll go ahead and wish for Coax from the Blind Eternities. Coax from the Blind Eternities. Wish for Emrakul. Cast with Omniscience. And from the top rope, it's Emrakul with a steel chair! Well, that was fun. I don't know how good we are against their average draw. I think Teferi is just like our best bet to interact with them or even slow them down, because we are all proactive, no reactive. Other than, like, Veil of Summer, which I guess we could use to protect ourselves from a potential, like, Pact of Negation. So it's probably worth running 1 or 2. I really think I just want the Teferi, though. And I think it's probably better than this Remand. We're gonna try it like this. Alright, opponent chooses to play first. We have tons of ramp, which is basically how we start to win the game. So we're going to keep this and just see what happens. Okay, opponent plays a Temple of Deceit and Scries, putting a card on top of their deck. So we untap and draw and explore. Play Prismatic Vista, crack Prismatic Vista, and get a forest. Utopia Sprawl onto the forest. Name blue. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Seachrome Coast. It looks like a Pentad Prism here. My opponent could have a very fast win. Potentially as early as next turn if they have a Simian Spirit Guide into their combo. So, play Prismatic Vista. Crack it for green. Explore. Force of Negation's actually super nice. So, Growth Spiral. Put down Windswept Heath. Pass the turn. I think this Windswept Heath is probably going to have to get a Plains. Opponent plays a Darkslick Shores. No, not the Duress Police! Oh, they're going to take Force of Negation. They take Early Harvest? So they must have protection for a Force of Negation. Or they're just really worried that we're going to combo off. They're going to play an Unlife. I still think we fight over an Ad Nauseam and not the Unlife. Okay. I'm gonna fetch a Plains here. Untap. We draw Teferi. Teferi is super nice. So play Teferi. If my opponent has a Pact of Negation, they basically have to use it on this. And now that they've used 1 mana off of their Pentad Prism, I don't want to unsummon the Pentad Prism because that gives them more mana over the next couple of turns. I think unsummoning the Phyrexian Unlife is correct here. Nice. Pass the turn. Oh, it's working. We do have to be a little bit careful. I guess not. I was going to say, Ad Nauseam is a completely instant speed combo, except for the fact that we're disallowing all fun. So, opponent untaps. They draw a card. They play an island. They got 5 mana. They replay Unlife. That's fine. So, on our opponent's end step, we Growth Spiral. We draw an Echo. Untap. We draw a Misty Rainforest. Hang on, view sideboard. I took the, what was it called? Rude Awakening out of the sideboard. So, uptick to Fairy. Play Misty. And pass the turn. So, we could Echo of Eons on our opponent's end step, which would almost certainly give them the combo if they don't have it already. Because they can't do anything at instant speed, so they can't. It's not like they can use the cards, and that would almost certainly give us everything we needed to win. The problem is we're giving up our Force of Negation to do that, which is our potential protection from what our opponent is doing. We could also wish for something. Let me look at the sideboard again. If I was going to wish, I would have 3 mana to cast something with. And I could cast the sorceries at instant speed. I could wish for a Heartbeat of Spring. And then I could cast Echo, but I wouldn't have quite enough mana to... Maybe I still do that. I would have to draw a land, and I would have to draw a Heartbeat of Spring for that to work. That's not that hard, though. So... the other option is just wheeling now. I think we go for the Wish for Heartbeat, then Heartbeat Echo on our turn. I'm gonna get another island. So, granted, we will use its ability, and we're going to take Heartbeat. Untap. We draw Misty. Alright, Misty is nice. So play Misty, crack Misty, get a Forest, play Heartbeat of Spring, use 1 Plains, 1 Island, and 1 Snow-Covered Forest to cast Echo. Now we just need an early harvest and anything else to do with our mana. Unfortunately, these are not really those things. Oof. We didn't even hit any of our, 9 Explorers. So, tick up to Fairy. Utopia Sprawl, a random forest on green. Then Flashback Echo. And kind of hope we draw our force again. Where were you last hand? Pass the turn. Alright, my opponent probably just kills me now. I guess they don't know how many forces we have, but they could easily play a land and, check our hand with Duress. They have double the mana they need. They just cast Ad Nauseam. Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam. Yeah. Alright, you win. We'll go to game 3. Because my opponent has Duresses, I might actually bring in some Veils. I think that's actually a little bit reasonable. I'm gonna drop Cryptic for a Veil. Cryptic is important, but we could always wish for it if we needed to answer a permanent. We'll play first. We'll keep. Once again, kind of a we need to draw action hand, but we have tons of mana very quickly, and that's kind of what we're looking to do. So we'll start Misty Rainforest, we'll fetch up a forest, play Utopia Sprawl, name blue, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Temple of Deceit, goes scrying, leaves a card on top, suspends a Lotus Bloom. We untap, we draw Windswept Heath, So, play Prismatic Vista, crack it, get a Forest, then Growth Spiral, play Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath, get a Plains, then Explore, play an Island. Pass the turn. 4 lands and a Utopia Sprawl on turn 2. I feel like we're accelerating. Okay, opponent plays a City of Brass. Taps it for green. Looks like another Pentad Prism play. Yep, Pentad Prism. Alright, well, we need to draw something. Teferi would be quite nice. Opponent uses one of the mana off of Pentad Prism to cast a Serum Visions. Let's see what they do with the Scries. I've thought about using Narset for this deck, because Narset plus draw 7 is pretty good. And it's possible that a Teferi should be a Narset or something like that. She's also pretty decent in the deck's primary game plan, which is just dig for a spell you can cast. We draw a Fae of Wishes. So, play Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath, get a Forest, explore, we draw a Force of Negation, play a Snow-Covered Island, and we could wish for... what would be good? What would be good here? We could wish for a Blue Sun Zenith, and then we could reload our hand. Finale of Revelation is only good X 10 or more, so that's probably not happening anytime soon. Cryptic Command would be fine. I think I'm going to wish for Blue Sun Zenith. If I have to pitch it, I'm not going to be heartbroken. Pass the turn. This deck that I'm playing right now was my attempt at making a modern High Tide deck. I mean, it's not High Tide, obviously, but I was trying to make a deck that played similarly. Okay. Lotus Bloom ticking down. It'll be coming off Suspend next turn. I'm gonna let this happen. You can take the draw spell or you can take the force. They take the draw spell. Okay, we untap. We draw Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral. Put a land into play. Cast Fae of Wishes. Pass the turn. I should probably try to counter this Lotus Bloom. You're supposed to fight over Ad Nauseam, but my opponent is a ways off of Ad Nauseam. Of course, if they have the Pact of Negation, Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam, they are going to win anyway, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, forcing this is just fine. Okay, so they'll theoretically be off the mana for a while. They play a Seachrome Coast. Another Pentad Prism. Yep. I'd really like to top deck a Teferi. We've drawn a lot of cards and have not drawn any Teferis. That is not a Teferi. Play out the land. Yeah, we'll attack for 1, why not? Okay, opponent starts Serum Visions. Alright, well we're gonna try this. We have to leave up double green, so Echo of Eons. Opponent is going to Spoils of the Vault. This is a Angel's Graceless Spoils, so it could actually kill them. Pact of Negation, literal top card. Oh, they left a card on top. They knew. They knew. Alright, so opponent packs this. If they have Angel's Grace, they can prevent themselves from having to pay mana. And if they have Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam, they win the game. I'm not going to flashback Echo of Eons here. I need to wait until I have a mana to actually do something with. If I cast Echo of Eons, it actually increases the likelihood that my opponent has what they need to kill us. Okay. They have the Angel's Grace. So they grace through the Pact of Negation trigger. They play a land. White mana, black mana. Is this an unlife? Nope. Okay, alright, we're dead. Sad day. So, it came down to us getting unlucky in game 2. The line we should have taken to win just didn't get us the win, which is unfortunate. The thing is, with this deck, it's not guaranteed, so... Okay, can't keep this hand. This one looks pretty good, though. I will keep this one, and I'm going to put back a snow-covered island. Opponent starts Scalding Tarn. So it looks like we're against Lurrus, Blitz, or Death Shadow. Whatever we want to call that deck. Start Snow-Covered Forest, Utopia Sprawl the Forest, and name blue. Pass the turn. Opponent plays another Swift Spear effect, and Thought seizes us. Sees two Explorers and a Utopia Sprawl. It would be best for them to take an Explorer, I think, of some kind. Utopia Sprawl doesn't matter as much. They take Growth Spiral. They attack us for 4. We untap. We draw Forest. So, play Forest. Explore. Play Island. And we're not using this mana this turn anyway, so Utopia Sprawl here. Also on blue. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent plays a Bauble, pumps their guys. Cracks it, plays a Bloodstained Mire. Cracks Bloodstained Mire, and they probably just put Lurrus in their hand unless they have a Shadow. Yep, Lurrus into their hand. They hit us for 4. We untap, they draw a card. We draw Teferi, and I did not get white mana because I am a genius. Play Misty Rainforest. The bad thing about fetches when you're not playing shocks is they're not guaranteeing you the color of mana you need. So, pass the turn. So if my opponent casts Lurrus, we counter and draw. We fetch, and then we counter and draw. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire, cracks Bloodstained Mire, gets a Blood Crypt untapped. They play Lurrus, so fetch with Misty. Get a Forest. Counter and draw. We get a Force of Negation. Not super helpful here. Opponent plays a Death Shadow. We get hit for 2. So would really like to draw white mana. Okay, we draw Shark Typhoon. We could cast a Shark Typhoon. We can also make a 4/4 Shark and back it up with a Force of Negation. That's probably safer. It also draws us a card. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks with everybody. So let's go ahead and cycle X4. Make a Shark. Draw a card. Second Teferi makes me feel not as bad. I'm going to block like this, take 6, and go to 3. Our opponent has untapped red mana, but we have a Force of Negation for the incoming bolt. Or not. Untap, we draw Prismatic Vista. So play Prismatic Vista, crack Prismatic Vista, get a Plains. Play Teferi. Unsummon Shadow. We get a Heartbeat of Spring, which we could just cast now, because my opponent having 5 mana versus my opponent having 45 mana is basically no different. The only difference that this makes is it means we're not playing Teferi again to bounce the Soulscar Mage, but I don't think that matters. Well, I guess we couldn't have because we didn't have the right mana for that anyway. It just means we're not hard casting Force of Negation, we're pitching Teferi to it to cast it. If that's happening. My opponent adds 6 black mana. Oh, I guess this could kill us if they have... No, Bump in the Night gets exiled by Force of Negation. I always forget Force of Negation exiles. Agadeem's Awakening. Nice, but no. So you have the Bolt to kill us. Opponent dismembers the Shark. And casts a Shadow. Sad day. We almost had them, too. Had we untapped, okay, we would have explored into a Utopia Sprawl, and that would not have mattered. Alright. I'm going to bring in the Veils for this matchup and the Weather the Storm. And Remand is going out. The question is, what else do I take out? I think I drop an Explore, a Growth Spiral, the Salundi Vision, and... No, we keep the Growth Spiral in over Explores because we can pitch it to Force if we have to. So we're going to go like this. I was originally like, Explore is less restrictive to cast, but we also have spells that require we pitch blue spells. So this hand has a Force, but does not do anything proactive, which is bad. This hand has a Force, but also has the same problem. I'll keep this. I'm going to put back... I guess I have to put back Heartbeat of Spring. I'm not thrilled about it. So, start by playing Prismatic Vista, pass the turn. We're going to have to use this to fetch green. So, like, my best bet is my opponent starts, like, a Swift Spear or a Soul Scar here. Okay. Opponent cracks to look at the top of their own deck. We draw and explore. Okay. So, crack Prismatic Vista for green. Play an island. Explore. Opponent cracks Bloodstained Mire. Gets a Blood Crypt untapped. We draw a Utopia Sprawl, which unfortunately we cannot cast. And unfortunately is not mana neutral. Opponent draws an additional card. They have 8 cards in hand now. They play a Mountain. They play a Soul Scar, and they pass. We draw another Utopia Sprawl. So Utopia Sprawl here. Name green. Play Snow-Covered Plains. And pass the turn holding up Force of Negation. I think I will counter Hand Hate if I see it. Okay, opponent looks at the top card of our deck. They go to combat. They attack for 2. And they play a Scourge of the Skyclaves. Well, Weather the Storm will kill Scourge. Opponent draws a card. We draw another Utopia Sprawl. If we had even one more forest, we could gain so much life here. I think we just gain the 6 life now, though. So, Utopia Sprawl, here again. Name green. And then, since we need the last green mana to Weather the Storm, and we can't do anything else if we cast Weather the Storm, we just do this to kill Scourge of the Skyclaves. It's not thrilling, but it does kill their best threat and put us above 20, so... I mean, there's that. Kind of did a rest for the weary. It was kind of like playing a land and then gaining the life. It's possible I should be playing like Timely Reinforcements and have a different Wishboard. Probably trim down the Wishboard to like the primary combo. So opponent attacks us, Lava Darts. We go to 20, we untap. We draw Misty. So play Misty, crack Misty. Get a Snow-Covered Forest. Play it. Utopia Sprawl that forest on probably green. Pass the turn, we'll leave up Force of Negation. And now we just need ye old big draw spells. Draw 7s, I believe they're called. Okay, opponent starts Mutagenic Growth. I would counter a Temur Battle Rage, but not much else. They go to combat. Attack for 4. Okay. No blocks. We are really hoping to draw one of our draw 7s. We untap. There it is. So we need to hit an early harvest and a land, and then something to cast. Echo of Eons. Shuffle everything back in, draw 7 cards. We drew a land, but we did not draw an early harvest, unfortunately. So we can play Misty. We can crack it for, I guess, blue. Then we can explore. Draw another Echo. Play Prismatic Vista. At least now we have Force of Negation. I don't know that we can survive another turn. We're going to wait to crack this Prismatic Vista until after our opponent does all their life lossy shenanigans. Because it's possible they just follow this up with a Temur Battle Rage. If they just naturally lose life, they're stuck at whatever our life total is. I am going to exile Echo of Eons to Force of Negation that and prevent my opponent from losing that life. They're going to take Force of Negation anyway. It doesn't matter if Echo of Eons is in the grave. I guess this means we're dead to Temur Battle Rage, but like they would have taken Force of Negation and we would have been dead to Temur Battle Rage anyway. I could have cast Fae of Wishes. We would still be dead to Temur Battle Rage. Okay, that's not a Temur Battle Rage. That is a Mutagenic Growth. We are dead to Bolt or any other direct. We're dead to Bolt, Mutagenic Growth, and of course Temur Battle Rage. Sad day. Alright. Round 3. Alright. Round 3. I would love to play first. Yep, this is a keep. We got a Remand, which will be nice. I wish we had some Explorers. So, start Forest, Utopia Sprawl on Forest, and name Blue. Pass the turn. When it starts Horizon Canopy into a Champion of the Parish. If that had been an Aether Vial, I would have forced it. 100%. Okay, we untap and draw Growth Spiral. So, play Misty, Growth Spiral, play Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath for a forest, crack Misty for an island, and pass the turn. Leaving up Remand. We were safe to do that because we are now holding our planes. So, Remand Thalia's Lieutenant, slow our opponent down. We will now have Cryptic Mana, which is nice. Also, drawing a Teferi would be pretty good, too. Okay, it's a forest. Play Misty. Pass the turn. So if my opponent taps out for a creature, we will just Cryptic counter draw. Opponent plays Unclaimed Territory on Illusion. Crack Misty. Get an island. Counter target spell and draw a card. Fae of Wishes. Alright. Opponent hits us for 1. We untap. We draw a Heartbeat of Spring. So I'll have 6 mana, 3 of which goes into a Heartbeat, leaving 3 left over. I can wish for Teferi, play Teferi. No. I can play Heartbeat and then do nothing. I think. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Play a forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can play Heartbeat and then wish for something. But I can't do anything else this turn if I do that. And my opponent untaps with a ridiculous amount of mana. It's not like they could Reflector Mage it, so I guess it's probably worth it. Pour Over the Pages is just 1 mana negative. I would probably have to take Time Reversal. Alternatively, yeah, I guess I'd have to take Pour Over the Pages. Or I could take another Heartbeat of Spring. We just go absolute big mana. Play Heartbeat. Play Snow-Covered Forest. Go ahead and Granted. We'll use Granted's ability. And I guess it's either Pour Over the Pages or Time Reversal. I think Pour Over the Pages is probably better. Alright. Pass the turn. We have to watch out for Gaddock Teague in this matchup post-sideboarding. Not that like we can do anything about it other than play Teferi and unsummon him, but... Okay, opponent sacks Horizon Canopy to draw a card. They play Silent Clearing and a Kitesail Freebooter. Sure. So they take Pour Over the Pages. That was kind of what I was worried about, but at the same time, it's not actually that threatening. And then they play Athalia's Lieutenant, pump the team, hit us for 4. Well, we need a good draw here. Go to 11. Island is not necessarily what I had envisioned. So play the Fae, play an island. I should have probably, well, I'm in this now, so pick up the Fae. Granted, we will use its ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're going to wish for Finale of Revelation. And we're also going to cast Fae of Wishes to block. Pass the turn. So Finale of Revelation is quite amazing if my opponent does not have a Thalia or a Kitesail Freebooter. They sack 2 lands to draw cards, and then they have a Phantasmal Image. Damn it! So close! They take our Finale of Revelation. Opponent gets 1/1 counters all around. Attacks for a lot. Block here. We take 7 and go to 4. Untap. Draw another Heartbeat. Alright, fine. That was super close. I think I am going to bring in Veil of Summer. Teferi is not that great against their deck, and neither is Force of Negation. Force of Negation can hit an early Aether Vial. Actually, Remand is terrible too. And I think probably leave in a Teferi over a Remand. So I'll try it like this. I would love to play first. I think this hand will work. So we'll keep. We will start Prismatic Vista and pass the turn. So we want to draw just lands here for a little bit. So I'm not even going to crack Prismatic Vista pre our turn. So my opponent starts with an Aether Vial draw. We untap, we draw Fae of Wishes, so play a Snow-Covered Island. Crack this for green. And I think because we have instant speed Growth Spirals, we're fine casting it on our opponent's turn. At least this turn. Really hope we hit a land off it. Otherwise, we might be in huge trouble. Okay, opponent plays an Unclaimed Territory. And Athalia, which is kind of our worst nightmare at the moment. We need to hit lands. Play Windswept Heath. We will not likely need white mana this game, because we are only running 1 Teferi. So Thalia resolves. We untap. We draw the plains anyway. So play the plains. And we could just cast out Heartbeat here. Or we can cast an Explore. If I play Heartbeat, my opponent gets to play a whole bunch of stuff. But if I don't play Heartbeat, I probably lose the chance to actually play it. So we're going to try it. It does help get around Thalia. You know, if every spell costs 1 more, but your lands tap for twice as much, you might be in a good spot. Okay, opponent plays Cavern on Human. I expect them to play their entire hand this turn. Mantis Riders? Multiple? Opponent vials in a Kitesail Freebooter. 100% takes Echo of Eons. Like, I think they have to. Yep. And they play a Meddling Mage. They name Granted. Okay. So we can't use our Wishboard. I mean, humans preys on decks like ours, which are dumb and derpy. Like, the problem is we don't have redundant copies of effects, which is why we're running the Wishboard, to get the effect we need, because mana is basically irrelevant when you have this much. And, like, it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, like, we were going to lose to humans anyway, probably. We'll get an island. Explore, leaving up green mana. We get a Veil of Summer. Growth Spiral. We get an Early Harvest, which we can actually cast, but we can't wish, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, pass the turn. This deck, I feel like, probably just wants to be a turns deck. Like, turns does what our... Like, I love this deck, and it's so fun. Like, the first game that we played this league shows you like what I was trying to do and what I was going for. And a couple of other games we played where we've like kind of gotten the combo, but it wasn't enough, or like we only drew mana or we only drew spells. Mainly because the big problem with this deck is we don't have a lot of cantrips or ways to get through the game early. Because it's not like basic lands have cycling. Is that lethal? Looks kind of like lethal. Yep. Alright. Let's try and get half our entry back and go 2-3. Alright, round 4. Here we go. I would love to play first. I can make this work. We'll keep. It's also possible that, like, the reason the explorers are explorers and not rampant growths is because while rampant growth will guarantee you a land, explorer lets the land come in untapped, and it also draws you a card. So, like, when you're comboing off and you have omniscience on the field, if you're looking for a draw 7, you can just, like, draw until you hit it effectively, while playing out all of your lands and kind of as a pseudo-ritual for the effects that you need to pay mana for that you can't just omniscience. We're going to name white so we can play turn 2 Teferi, which I feel like is very good versus a lot of decks. Opponent starts a Sun Petal Grove tapped. We untap. We draw a Growth Spiral. So play Snow-Covered Island. Play Teferi. And uptick Teferi. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Hinterland Harbor tapped. Kind of looks like they are running a budget mana base. I'm not worried about creatures as much now, so we're just going to draw with Teferi here. Okay, we hit a land. So play a land. Then Growth Spiral. Okay, opponent gives up. I have no idea what they're playing, so I'm not going to sideboard. Tempting, but we actually don't have white mana in this hand. I'm gonna mulligan. Yeah, sure, we'll keep this. I'll put back a Fae of Wishes. Opponent starts Hinterland Harbor tapped. We draw Utopia Sprawl. So play Windswept Teeth, crack Windswept Teeth for a forest, and we're going to Utopia Sprawl on green. So this lets us potentially play 2 Explorers next turn. It does take us off of Cryptic. It's a little bit awkward, because it's like we choose between playing potentially multiple Explorers, which is the most redundant effect we have that we can draw, versus having the option to play Teferi versus having the ability to play Cryptic. This is probably like Spore Frog, Proclamation of Rebirth, I betcha. So go ahead and Growth Spiral. We'll play Snow-Covered Island. Okay. Pass the turn. If I have to pitch something to force, I will pitch Cryptic Command. Oh yeah, I'm letting that resolve. So we're against Turbo Fog. And us drawing extra cards here is excellent. So we draw Teferi, which is awkward. We also draw another Fae of Wishes. I'm going to play a Snow-Covered Forest, and we're going to go ahead and go Granted. I will use its ability. I'm going to wish for Heartbeat of Spring. Okay, pass the turn. The opponent draws an extra card. They get in for 1. We take 1. We untap. Draw Fae of Wishes and an Early Harvest. So play Heartbeat. Early Harvest. I'm kind of expecting like a Remand negate. Okay. That's fine. Pass the turn. Like, we're kind of okay because we have Force, I will probably use Fae of Wishes to force if I have to. So opponent draws an extra card. Plays a Plains. They finally got their third land. Second Howling Mine. Sure. We untap. We draw Growth Spiral, Echo, and Growth Spiral. Okay. So attempt a Growth Spiral. Oh, you can't put Salundi Vision onto the battlefield tapped from your hand. Wow. So Salundi Vision's actually kind of bad. We're going to play Salundi Isle anyway. Play Growth Spiral. Play an island. And pass the turn. I mean, I might just Cryptic Bounce a land, depending on what they play. Though it might be more prudent to just have more counterspell protection for landing a Teferi. Sphinx's Tutelage. That one I will counter. Okay, we draw Windswept Teeth, which we can use to get our Plains for Teferi. When it gets in at us for 1, take 1. We untap. We draw land, explore, and land. So play Windswept Teeth. Crack a Windswept Teeth. Get a Plains. I could wish for Veil of Summer. I think the one counterspell is probably enough. So Force of Negation, target, negate. So Resolve Teferi, uptick Teferi. Explore is now mana neutral. So explore, play a forest, pass the turn. Okay, I'm going to draw some extra cards. They play a Hinterland Harbor tapped, and a Dictative Kruphix. Okay. I mean, if anything, the mines are helping us. So, opponent mills us for 4. Milling Early Harvest, Utopia Sprawl, Prismatic Vista, and Explore. Shuffling their cards back in. Okay. I think my opponent is going to be a little upset to know that we have draw 7s we can use to reset our... Okay, they attack Teferi, but we're not going to get milled out, especially not after Emrakul-ing our opponent. So Teferi takes 1, goes to 4. Then float mana, Growth Spiral, play Snow-Covered Island, cast Echo. Okay, that's pretty bad. Untap. We're going to draw a million cards anyway, and we have Fae of Wishes, so I guess we technically have the win here. We draw a bunch. In fact, 3 additional cards for turn. Play Heartbeat of Spring. Now Explore is mana positive. Play Snow-Covered Forest. Explore. Shark Typhoon. Play an island. Utopia Sprawl, a Snow-Covered Forest, named green. Play Fae of Wishes out of exile. Pick it up, discarding some lands. Cast Granted. We will use its ability. We'll get Omniscience. Play Omniscience. Play the Fae of Wishes. Bounce it to hand, discarding lands. Wish. Get Coax from the Blind Eternities. Wish. Get Emrakul. And Hammer, cool. So take an extra turn. We're gonna make this lethal. Cast Shark Typhoon. Force the Fog Frog. Now. Okay. Yep. Fantastic. So we beat Turbo Fog and move on to round 5. Oh, hang on. I'm actually going to restart Moto really quick. Alright, here we go, round 5. Seems like we have what we need to make this deck work, so we're going to keep. Start Misty, pass the turn. Opponent starts Cavern on Human. Oh, not again. Not again. Play a Forest, pass the turn. Play an Island and pass. Opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. They go to combat, attack for 1. We take 1, go to 18. Thalia. Joy. We draw another Echo of Eons. Play Prismatic Vista, pass the turn. I'm gonna try casting Selendi Visions. I'm gonna plays a Waterlogged Grove into a Kitesail Freebooter. So we get Plains. Cast Selendi Visions. Or Vision. I'm gonna take another Early Harvest. I think. Yeah. Because that's the kind of effect we need to win, and now our hand is redundant. We need one more land before Early Harvest can generate even a single mana, though. I think they have to take an Early Harvest. Yeah, that's just what makes the most sense there. Okay, opponent gets in for 3, 4 actually, with the Exalted trigger. We go to 13. Okay, we get a Prismatic Vista. So play Prismatic Vista, crack it, we'll get an Island. Float mana, Early Harvest, target ourselves. Oh shoot, you know what? That doesn't work. That doesn't work because these cost 7 and not 6. Never mind. Ugh, my brain. That's terrible. Okay, opponent cracks Waterlogged Grove to draw a card. They play Horizon Canopy. They play Reflector Mage. No targets. Pump the Lieutenant. Hit us for 7. We go to 5. We draw a Fae of Wishes. Alright. Freaking Thalia. Alright, versus humans, I think I would rather have the Veil of Summers than the counter spells that aren't going to matter. So we'll try like that. We'll play first. Okay. I think I actually have to keep this, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, I don't know. Play a Forest, play Utopia Sprawl on the Forest, name blue. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Unclaimed Territory, naming human, of course, into an Aether Vial. We untap, we draw Echo of Eons, play a Plains, Growth Spiral, play an Island, play a Fae of Wishes, pass the turn. Okay, Aether Vial ticking up to 1. Opponent apparently has a Kitesail Freebooter. Well, they can't take Fae, so they have to take Utopia Sprawl or they take Echo. And they take Utopia Sprawl. If they pass, we draw Growth Spiral. I think we Wish here. We'll get Heartbeat of Spring. Teferi probably wasn't a bad pickup either, now that I think about it. Because Teferi would at least let us cast this Utopia Sprawl. But then my opponent would have gotten to replay Freebooter and found something else to do with it. Second Freebooter. Takes Heartbeat of Spring. What plays a Horizon Canopy. And they have a Mantis Rider. Go to combat. We can block the Mantis Rider because we have 4 toughness. Untap. We draw Explore. So play Explore. How are we not drawing lands? Play the other Fae of Wishes. Pass the turn. We run like 26 lands! 27! Something like that. 26? I think it's 26. Definitely taking Selendi Visions out of the deck, though, because that card has been worse than anticipated. General Kudro makes these guys big enough to swing past the Fae. Block here. We can't even double block. Take 8, go to 11. We untap. We draw an early harvest. Growth Spiral. And it's game. Wow. Alright. So I know this was a little bit out there for Mad Meta Magic, but I still really enjoy the deck. It's tons of fun. Going through the combo is just so sweet. If something happens and for some reason you can't Emrakul to kill your opponent, you can always basically loop to get like infinite mana and then blue sun your opponent to death. Like if they had an ensnaring bridge or something like that. I think the other version of the deck was probably actually a little bit better because it ran more interactive spells early with like remands. It had a second Cryptic in the list and stuff like that. This was just a test on whether or not Teferi was good, how splashable he was off of a single plains, 2 fetch, or single plains, 6 fetch lands that can grab it, and the Utopia Sprawl. And I'm pretty happy with how easy he was to resolve. He does do a lot, and in like control or counterspell based matchups, it basically means you can combo off completely unimpeded. But the deck has major problems with aggro, and it shouldn't. Because if you look at the other decks that play similar style, like if you look at Blue-Green Time Warps, or you look at Nexus Reclamation, you basically don't have that problem. And this deck is playing Heartbeat, Early Harvest, and 8 Explore effects, and all of that is to just do what Wilderness Reclamation does by itself. So, like, Wilderness Reclamation is like, oh, you double your mana, it's always open, it untaps on your end step. If you have Nexus of Fate, you can just take an extra turn, and then you have even, you have double your mana next turn, you can play another land, and, like, I really think, while this deck is sweet, and it's a ton of fun to play, and you do very silly things with it, you're probably better off playing Wilderness Reclamation and Nexus of Fate. Whatever that deck is, whatever it currently looks like in Modern. I do really like this deck, and I will periodically make attempts at making it work because I enjoy it so much. But now is not the time for it, I guess. So, alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the Magic Meta mad. I'll see you guys next time. You're all wonderful human beings. Bye!